All right, today let's cover something that comes up often with some of our newer clients, solo clients, single agents, agents that are getting into the market, into the industry in real estate, and talking about not having a massive budget. So I'm going to give you my 5 best tips for running a smaller budget inside Google Ads. And these are things that can move from real estate into other niches and can be kind of interchangeable. You don't have to do all of them. We typically do most of them when we're doing it. So to get it out of the gate, so we're going to start right from the beginning, is limit your locations. When we're working with somebody, let's say it's a large metro area, we might tell them, they'll give us their top 6 or 7 areas they want to hit. We might just pull out 2 of those. If your budget's limited, and again, the budget, a limited budget is somewhere between $500 to $1,000 a month. That might sound like a lot to others, but we're talking about selling hundreds of thousands of dollars in real estate each time you get a deal. So your commissions are going to be within thousands of dollars as well. So smaller budgets might sound different for other niches, but again, number 1 is limiting your locations. Just start with 1 or 2 locations instead of going all in and picking the entire metro area. Where do you specialize? Where do you get most of your deals? Where's the best market at for activity? Once you realize that, go into that market and just hammer on those. So number 1, limit your locations. Number 2, exact match search. Don't go with broads. We don't go with phrase, and we kind of just go in and say we know exactly what 9 times out of 10 is going to get us the best traffic. So we're going to do our best to ensure that we can get in front of those people with exact matches. So we're limiting our keyword uses. We're limiting what Google can and can't do to pull traffic for us. That'll run our traffic down considerably. Again, when you're on a limited budget, that's a good thing. It kind of keeps us in that sweet spot where we don't really want to pull too much traffic and pull too much stuff into our bids and into our action. So limit your keywords by using exact match only right out of the gate. You should know some of your best keywords if you're in your specific niche, if you're in a specific area. So that would be number 2. Exact match, maybe a couple of phrase matches for testing, but stay in your exact zone and limit that traffic. So we're limiting traffic. It's a theme. You're going to see that where we're taking that funnel, and instead of taking everything, we're just getting down to a smaller spot of that funnel. So number 3 is something that we do with large and small budgets. It's manual bidding. It's not doing enhanced. It's not doing target CPA. It's not giving Google the keys to the car and saying we don't care what you spend. Times are tough for some agents right now in the market. The industry is kind of in a flux. So instead of just telling Google we don't care what we pay per lead and we don't care what you spend on our campaigns, we're going to go in and say we do care. And we're going to bid each keyword specifically. We're going to give more juice to the ones that we know are good. We're going to pull back and sort of limit the spend per keyword and other sets. So when you're doing that manual bidding, you're bidding at the keyword level. You're not bidding it daily. You're not bidding it in ad group sets. It's straight up keywords. So making that limitation and really pulling that back. So manual bidding only. Do not do smart bidding. It's a small budget. Google prefers larger budgets for those smart biddings because they need more data, more conversions to be able to, quote, work well. Again, we do manual bidding for a lot of our stuff, even with large budgets. So you can see $10,000 to $20,000 to $30,000 a month budgets with a lot of manual bidding in it still. We will shift that over, but typically we stay in our lane on that. So manual bidding is number 3 or 3. Ad text is going to be a little bit more hyper specific. So number 4 is hyper specific ad text. What that does is that might drop your click-through rate down a bit, but it's getting you people that you want specifically. So getting hyper specific, and do we want just single family homes? Do we want condos or townhomes? Do we want people looking at specific size properties, specific things? So is it inside specific neighborhoods? Again, you can whittle down how much traffic you have by doing this and getting very specific with your text and what you're saying. You can get very hyper specific in making sure that the quality of your lead is better, by limiting that text as well. And I think it makes sense to get more specific and more literal with your ad copy when you have a limited budget. When you have a larger budget, you can get more generic with it, trying to pull in all traffic and being everything to everyone. You cannot be everything to everyone right now, just because that's life, right? You don't have the budget for it, and it's not an intelligent thing to do. So kind of stay in your lane with your ad copy and stay really, really hyper focused with that. And that's the fourth one. So ad text, getting very, very specific with your ad text. Number 5 is one that might seem a little, yeah, I get it, but it works. It's ad scheduling. We typically, for our clients, we'll run ad schedules from, let's say, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night, 7 days a week. Some people, again, if we have larger budgets, we're running 24/7 and trying to pull in as much traffic as possible. And we might have conversations with clients and say, okay, your budget's limited. And maybe after a month or two, we've noticed that Tuesday sucks for lead generation in your area. Let's shut down Tuesday and spread that money out to the rest of the days. Or maybe we limit times. Maybe you're not working from 8 in the morning until noon, and you want to work from 1 to 8, 1 to 9. So those kind of things come into play. You can also go and look at, after you get some data, what are the best times for lead conversion, and then just work those instead of having it run 24/7. It really limits how much you can have it. It's a great tool to use. It's something that we use on most of our budgets, but when you're talking about a limited budget, you can get even more hyper specific with it. Who's able to man the phones? Who's able to call on those leads? Who's able to follow up if it's not all completely automated? So number 5 is going to be that limiting your spend by doing your ad scheduling. And one bonus one. So we've gone through all 5, and the bonus one I would tell you is devices. Maybe you shut off. We typically shut off tablets. Maybe you shut off or bid down aggressively on mobile or desktop, depending on what you want to do. There's theories behind it that we can go into at a later date, but sometimes leads are better if they're coming from desktop, depending on the part of the country you're in. Sometimes mobile is just so abundant that you can bid that down and pay a fraction of the cost that you would pay on desktop, and still bring in almost double the traffic with a smaller budget. So device bidding is a big thing that we kind of play with from time to time, but could be a huge positive to use in your arsenal when you're working with a limited budget. So those are the 5.5 ways to run your Google Ads on a limited budget. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know. I'd love to hear them. Honestly, we use these in all facets, in large budgets and small budgets, but I think they're good that people don't realize that you can use these to your advantage, and they have real effect on how much you spend and how much you don't spend. If you have any questions, let me know, and I hope you found this useful.